Hey guys, how's it going? Let me go live on Instagram here. Awesome. So we're back with another weekly video series all about hosting a summit and doing it the right way, making money, making it a great experience, all those good things. Today we're gonna real quickly talk about 3 traits every summit host should have. I was gonna do this at 10, and remember to have a call at 10. So we have 10 minutes to get this in. Not gonna be a problem though. So I wanted to talk to those of you who kind of feel stuck right now trying to decide if it's time for you to host a summit or not, because that's not a fun feeling. And that's something I dealt with that for a long time, probably a good year. The idea to host a summit would come to my mind, and then it was like, oh, I'm not ready for that, or I don't know if I'm ready for that. And even once I started, I wasn't sure if I was ready. So that's why I wanted to talk to you guys today about 3 things you do need to host a summit, and then 3 things you don't need. And I think you're going to like what you don't need, because it's something a lot of people, they're all things a lot of people wait for. But let's start with the things that you do need. The first thing you need to host a successful summit that's worth the effort is an existing offer that makes money, whether it's a product or a service. I don't care what it is. But in the process of creating an offer that actually makes money, you learn so many things you need to know to host a summit that actually works. Things like who your audience actually is and what they need from you, messaging that works well with them, what works well for your marketing and the ways you like to market and talk to people. Like, you learn those things in the process of creating a successful offer. I'd rather have you go through that work and figure those things out before you go through, the 3-4 month long process of hosting a summit, than trying to figure it out while you're hosting your summit and just have the whole thing flop. Like, it's not worth trying to figure out while you're hosting a summit. So that's why I say you need a successful product or service first. Okay, usually people come to this around, I don't know, year 3, 4, 5 in their business. Of course, there are people that hit that sooner. I did around 2.5 years, I guess. But my summit happened 3 years later. I don't know exactly, but about 3 years is when I see most people being really ready to host an incredible summit. So if you have a good offer in place that's selling, that's a good indicator that you are ready. The second thing you need is a budget. If you have an offer that makes money, this probably isn't a problem for you, right? If you have money coming in. I will say though that you don't need a lot. Like, you don't need thousands of dollars in the bank to host a summit. You can do it for as little as $300, and that would mean you're swapping paid tools for free ones with maybe some less features. You might be doing some things more manually. You're not paying a team to help you out. And it means you're using tech that you already have set up for your business. So maybe you're hosting your summit on the website you already have, but you can host a summit for as little as $300, okay? If you have a 0 budget, it's not time for a summit. It's not worth skimping on it. It's worth doing it right. If you do have a bigger budget and you can drop a couple $1,000s on people to help you and these premium tools and all this stuff, I also think that's very worth it. That's what I've been doing for my last couple summits. If I find a tool I want or someone I want to hire to help, I'm like, here you go, because it has been so worth it to do that. It makes the process so much easier. It lets you create a really incredible experience for both your speakers and your attendees and yourself. So it is worth it to splurge when you can, but a minimum of a $300 budget is what you need. And then there are a few personality traits, and I lump these 3 as like one thing you need, but there are 3 personality traits I really think you need to host a summit and do it well. The first one is drive. You need what it takes to carry a long-term, large project through all the way. Even when things get difficult, even when you maybe don't know the answers to some questions you have, even though you can ask me. If things get a little tough, your speakers get frustrating, you need to be able to push through all those things and have what it takes to keep going. You also need to be really organized, because there are so many moving pieces in a summit, and 20, 30 people you have to organize and keep track of. I have all kinds of speakers after each of my events thanking me for how easy I made it for them, how organized I am, and those same people will come back to me and say, oh my gosh, I was just part of this terrible summit. They weren't organized at all. They, mixed up all my stuff. You don't want to be that person that they're talking about, right? So being organized is a really important part of hosting a well-done event. And the last trait is attention to detail. I really think that the profit is in the details when you're hosting a summit. And those small details are what make your event stand out. They give your speakers a great experience. They help your attendees hit that transformation you promised them. They really are all the difference. And if you're like paying attention to these things and you're like, okay, you know, maybe I have organization and attention to detail, or maybe organization and drive, but I can't have the attention to detail because I don't know what those details are. Like, that's why I create all my resources for you guys. That's why I have the Summit Host process map. It's why I have the Summit Host vault. So I can say, here are those details you need to pay attention to, and you can implement them. So keep that in mind as well. I want to dive into, how much time do I have? 5 minutes. I want to dive into the 3 things I don't want you to wait for, though. The first one and most important is a big email list. You don't have to wait till you have a certain number of subscribers on your list. You don't have to wait till you have any. As long as you have those other things that we went over. I hosted my first summit. I started planning it when I had about 400 people on my list. I still made $16,000, and I'm working on planning my 4th summit right now, and it's gonna be incredible. And each one of those events that I've hosted since that first one have, you know, increased in impact, increased in profits, increased in size. So it's one step at a time. Don't wait for a big email list, because a summit will get you that email list. It's very backwards to wait. And like along the same lines, another thing I don't want you to wait for is influencer status. Do not wait till you're an influencer to host a summit. Each of your summits will get you several steps closer to that, you know, influencer or expert status that you might feel like you need or want. You're collaborating with so many industry experts. You're giving these people incredible transformations. That's something else the summit will do for you. And last is feeling completely ready. This is not something that I think anyone feels completely ready for. Even I am sometimes like, oh man, this is a lot of work. So like, don't wait till you feel completely ready. You'll figure it out. If you're organized, if you have that drive, you'll figure out what you need to make a summit happen and make it work. And I'm really excited for you, by the way. So let me know if you have questions on those things. I'm sorry we had to go through it so fast, but I wanted to make sure I got this in when I promised you guys. Next week, we're going to talk about the most important pieces of a summit that's profitable, visibility boosting, impactful, stuff like that. Same time, actually not same time. Next week's will be at 10 o'clock and not 9:45. But let me know if you have any questions on this, whether you're on Instagram, on Facebook. You know where to find me. And thanks so much for being here.